The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign. I'm so happy you are here. We are the magazine podcast and community guiding 5 million women to their sovereign selves. From heart-led conversations to magical meditations, our inspiring guests will show you how they can help you step into your sovereign self. Are you ready to listen to your inner voice and step into your power? Then keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you today. Hello! Today I have the privilege of reconnecting with Chris Melville, our personal empowerment coach here at Sovereign Magazine, alongside her transformative coaching sessions and workshops for Sovereign community. She also runs a thriving coaching practice and is a certified rapid transformational therapy practitioner with over 30 years of corporate experience. She is passionate about empowering women to overcome mindset challenges and build thriving businesses. She is a true expert in personal empowerment and helps others boldly step into their own power. Welcome back, Chris.
Hello, Nicole. I love the greeting I always get from you when I come in here. It's so much energy you bring.
Yeah, I'm glad. Well, today we're going to be talking about something that I am really excited to talk about. I'll give you a little hint. It's about hustle culture. But today we are talking about trusting in life, which is our September new moon issue. And in your article, Why Trusting in Life is the Business Strategy Nobody Talks About, you start to explore for us the deeply personal and often uncomfortable truth that trust only begins when certainty ends, which I love this concept because it's so true in business. And you speak a lot about how many women in business face quiet seasons and like nonlinear patterns. And oftentimes the logic and the hustle offer no guarantees. So for those who haven't read your article, maybe you can give a little recap so we're all on the same page.
Sure. So as women, we're taught that we have to be in control of things, don't we? We have to, especially if we want to succeed in business, we have to be better than the men. We have to take charge. We have to drive everything. We have to work really hard. We have to work long hours and subscribe to that whole hustle culture belief that you have to work all the hours in the day and you have to work every day of the week or you don't love your business enough. But the thing is, like, nothing in life is certain. So why would we expect everything in our business to be certain? Why would we just automatically think, well, I'm working 8 hours a day, so of course I'm going to have clients? The reality is you could be working 8 hours a day, but you could be like sat in Canva trying to come up with a pretty Instagram post. That's not going to get you clients, right? So we need to be able to just take a step back from that hustle culture mindset, because that's going to make you sick, and just trust in the process, trust in the universe, trust that you're on the right path. Because if you trust, then you can look at things rationally, which means you can say, okay, this is what I've been trying and it's not working. So why isn't it working? How can I make an adjustment to this to make it work? If you're in hustle culture, you're just always trying to power forward and there's no time to stop and be quiet and review and figure out the next few steps.
Yeah, you talk a lot about ambitious women, which I love because I feel like I can identify with this. I'm often told I'm often told I have too many ambitious dreams, but I love dreaming and I love like seeing how far I can push the envelope and what manifests. I'm not attached to the outcome, but I'm attached to the dreaming of going bigger, brighter, better, right? And so when these ambitious women are really looking at this topic of hustle culture, I really think about how we are taught to plan, to push, to perform. And in the business, I have really had to teach not only myself, but the team. Anytime there is discomfort or something is not flowing with ease, we have to pause. As uncomfortable as that is, owning a business, something I have learned time and time again, something is not right. But for the ambitious woman who only knows how to plan, push, and perform, and doesn't know how to be maybe present, honest, and responsive instead of reactive, what maybe can we do to honor both sides of us, right? That side of us who is the planner, who is the performer, who is the pusher, but also the side of us that desires to be more present and honest and responsive.
I love this question because the thing is, as in everything else, we need to be balanced, right? I have clients all the time that get stuck because they're too much in their head. They're too reviewing, but then also, some of the limiting beliefs are creeping in, and they can only get moving again by taking action, right? So we have to be able to take action, but we also have to be able to have this quiet time to review. And the thing that works best for me and for all of my clients that I have done this with is dedicated CEO time, right? That CEO time is not about creating Instagram posts. It's not about seeing clients. It is about reviewing what's going on in your business, looking at where your business is, thinking about those dreams. Yeah, I love that you dream. Why wouldn't you have big, ambitious dreams? You're trusting that some of those dreams will come true. Not all of them are going to come true. Why would you just say, oh, I'm only going to have this one big ambition and drive myself towards that? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So taking this time to trust ourselves as a business person, to trust that we know what's best for our business, for our clients, and for ourselves as the CEO of that business, it's a massive game changer. It really is. And it gives everybody that I work with who does this, it gives them a clear plan for what they're doing the rest of the week, which means every day when they sit down at their desk, they don't spend the first hour faffing around trying to figure out what they need to do. It's like, no, I'm here. I'm going to take action. You can take action without it being hustle. For me, hustle kind of refers to taking action with a bit of underlying panic. Yeah. It's like, this is what I have to do to make my business succeed. And the flip of that is if I don't do this, my business will not succeed. So you're coming already at it from a negative perspective. You're flaring up your nervous system, right? You're sitting there with this anxiety and this panic. And when you plan, when you take that step back and look at everything without the emotion, that's when you gain the control.
Yeah, you were in my head the other day. I heard you in my head talking to me all the way from the UK, Chris.
Love it.
I had so many things on my to-do list,
Mm,
and what you always tell me is pick 3 quick things that you can get done in a
mm.
short amount of time, ideally like 15 minutes so you can feel accomplished. And that's
10
exactly
minutes? 10
10
minutes?
minutes? 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. That's
That's,
exactly what I did.
yeah, we do that first thing in the morning. You pick those 3 10-minute tasks that you can do. And that means by after the first half hour of sitting down at your desk, you've already crossed 3 things off your to-do list. What a great way to start the day. Who doesn't want to start their day like that? Yeah.
Yeah, and
A
it
lot of
may
people are like, oh, I'm going to do the big thing. I'm going to bite the frog. I'm going to do the big thing that's going to take me 3 hours. Who wants to sit down at their desk first thing in the morning and think, oh my God, I'm going to do this for the next 3 or 4 hours?
yeah, that's exactly what was happening. I was having to do a final edit of a magazine, which takes a
Mm,
long time and a lot of attention, and my poor team, I was so behind. I was behind a couple of days. We work really far in advance, so technically we're not behind, but we're very organized, and
mm,
I knew if I sat down and did the edit at that moment, it would be too much and I'd miss
mm.
things, and I want to be very, detail oriented. And so I was like, I'm going to pick these smaller things over here cuz Chris says I can do that. And so I did. I did 3 things that weren't as big of a priority that would make me feel accomplished, and then it empowered me later on to be like, "Okay, I think I'm ready," because those things were ticked off. It, like, cleared my brain for the ability to feel accomplished, and so I didn't feel the heavy weight of 4 things. I felt only the weight of 1 left, right?
Yeah. And that's exactly the whole point of like stepping away from that hustle culture. When you're in that hustle culture, if you were sitting there in hustle mindset, be like, I have to do this. I have to do this. I can't leave my desk until I get this done. And it would have become a slog. You wouldn't have been in the right mindset. You wouldn't have brought the right energy to it. It would have taken you 3 times as long to get through it. Yeah. But that's what hustle culture would say. You have to do this now.
Inside the Sovereign community, you'll find more than a social platform. You'll find many private spaces led by women who walk the path with you, like Abby from Canada. Connect with her in her sacred space called Reclaimed and Rise. Step into the Maven Haven with Ebony from the UK, or join the Open Heart Collective with Bonnie from the US. These are just some of the soul sanctuaries curated by conscious women for conscious connection. Come find your space inside the Sovereign community today.
So let's go into steps to our sovereign self.
Okay.
And I think it would be really beautiful if we gave people some techniques to help themselves recalibrate their nervous system when they're perhaps in hustle culture, and ways that they can be more present, and ways that they could shift that energy. I mean, we gave them tangible ways of doing the 3 things in 10 minutes, but what are some other ways that maybe perhaps they can reset their nervous system away from culture and more into, that presence, honesty, and responsiveness we were talking about earlier?
So one thing I like to have my clients do is a energy audit the first week that we work together, understanding your body and when it works best. My creativity is best in the morning. I'm not the most creative person by any push, but if I'm
Me
going to be
neither.
creative, it's got to be in the morning, right? Lunchtime-ish, I work really well doing quiet, focused work. And then in the afternoon, I get a bit of a slump and it's like busy work that I don't need to pay attention to. And then I get another big energy boost kind of around 4 o'clock in the evening. So I always try and plan my tasks around when that type of work is most conducive for my energy levels, my focus, my body. I think that is a huge help because you talked about when things don't feel in flow. If you're fighting against your attention span, your energy levels, it's never going to fill in flow. So being able to recognize that helps keep your nervous system quiet because it's happy, right? And then you're working at a time where you're much more productive. So things get done faster. So you can have that kind of accomplishment, taking things off. When the energy starts to lag, some people need peace and quiet. So take yourself off someplace really quiet, get away from your desk, right? Take yourself physically away from the source of the stress. Go for a walk, get outside, maybe go for a walk. Or if you need to just really, if you're feeling really frazzled, maybe go and do like a 5-minute meditation, go and journal for a few minutes, go and read, whatever it is that you know will automatically quiet you down. For me, I'm looking usually to bring my energy back up. So I put music on. Music is huge in my life, and I use music in a very different way. So I use music to energize myself, to calm myself, to um, do focused work, right? When my body starts to hear that kind of music, it's like a Pavlovian response. It knows what I'm requesting of it. So we need to be able to bring in these different things that can trigger our senses. Yeah. Maybe if you really need to sit down and concentrate and do some focus work, light your favorite candle. And every time you smell that candle, your nervous system just kind of settles and it's like, oh, this is what we're going to do now. We don't need to be hyper. We don't need to be full energy. We need to be focused. When you're editing the magazine, this is what we need to be quiet and focused and pay attention to what we're doing.
That's so funny because that is exactly what I do. I have ADHD. I have ADHD. I didn't even know I was doing it though, but I have ADHD. And so whenever I have to edit the magazine, I have a special brain app that plays certain music. You can pick, deep focus, this time, this, that, and the other. I sleep to a certain one as well, because it helps my brain just calm down. But I never thought about doing the energy check throughout the day. I naturally have done this. I'm like you. I'm a morning person. I'm up very early, about 4 o'clock in the morning. And I always have a slump around 12, 1, 2. So I don't try to plan a lot of heavy things around that time. Sometimes I'll get a resurgence in the afternoon. I was quite impressed that you said that because I tend to just slump at the end. But that's because I'm up so early, 4 in the morning. It's pretty hard to stay awake at 4 in the afternoon if you've already been up 12 hours. But I think these are beautiful tips for people to be able to really trust in themselves and trust that they don't have to live a life of hustle culture, like that they can really trust in how they want to run their life, run their business, and not feel like they have to do what everybody else does.
100%. We talk so much about mindset and, how we can adjust our mindset, how we could train our brain. We never really talk about being able to train our nervous system. And I used a phrase a minute ago that I realized some people may not recognize, which is the Pavlovian response. So for anybody who doesn't know what that is, it was a medical experiment done on dogs. I want to say in the 50s, maybe, by a scientist named Pavlov. And what he would do is he would ring a bell and then feed the dogs. And what would happen is when the bell would ring, the dogs would have a physical reaction. They would start salivating. They wouldn't just go looking for their food because they knew they were getting food. They would actually have a physical bodily reaction that was driven by the nervous system. So when we can realize how our nervous system works, we can start training it to get into the area we want it to be much faster.
Yes. We're going to have such a beautiful day today, having all this wisdom and gold for ourselves. Thank you so much for sharing all of this. And guess what? She'll be back for more. We get to see her or listen to her twice a month.
You're stuck with me.
Yes, we love it. We love having you around. All right, my love. See you on the next one.
Bye.
Thank you for listening. This is the last episode for this issue. I'll be back again on the full moon with another soul-led entrepreneur here to help guide you to your sovereign self. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details to connect with today's guest or join the movement are in the show notes. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million women to self-sovereignty.